The United States built some of the most legendary aircraft of World War II, from the nimble P-51 Mustang to the colossal B-29 Superfortress. American engineering dominated the skies. But beyond the famous names were dozens of other planes, each with its own story, role, and legacy. Today, we reveal every U.S. aircraft used in the war, with details on what made each one special. Fighters. Let's start with the fighters, the agile hunters of the sky. North American P-51 Mustang. The P-51 Mustang was arguably the best all-around fighter of WWII. With its Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, it had exceptional range, able to escort bombers deep into Germany, and superb high-altitude performance. Lockheed P-38 Lightning. The Lightning was a unique twin-engine fighter known for its distinctive twin-boom design. It excelled as a long-range escort and reconnaissance plane, and it was the aircraft that shot down Japanese Admiral Yamamoto. Republic P-47 Thunderbolt. Nicknamed the Jug, the P-47 was a heavy, rugged fighter bomber. It could absorb enormous damage and was deadly in ground attack roles, especially with its 8.50 caliber machine guns and bomb load. Grumman F-6F Hellcat. The F-6F Hellcat was the U.S. Navy's premier carrier-based fighter. It turned the tide in the Pacific, achieving a kill ratio of 19-to-1 against Japanese aircraft thanks to its power, armor, and firepower. Vought F-40U Corsair. With its distinctive inverted gull wings, the Corsair was fast and feared. It dominated dogfights in the Pacific and later excelled as a fighter bomber in Korea. Bell P-39 Airacobra. The P-39 was unusual for its mid-engine design and car-style door. It performed well at low altitudes and was heavily used by the Soviet Air Force under Lend-Lease. Curtiss P-40 Warhawk. Famous for the Flying Tiger's shark-mouth livery, the P-40 was a tough, reliable workhorse used in every theater of the war, though outclassed by later enemy fighters. Bell P-63 King Cobra. An improved version of the P-39, the P-63 was faster and better armed. It saw limited U.S. service, but was widely used by the Soviet Union for ground attack. Northrop P-61 Black Widow. The P-61 was America's first dedicated night fighter. Equipped with radar and a crew of 3, it hunted enemy bombers and fighters in the dark over Europe and the Pacific. Grumman F-4F Wildcat. The Wildcat was the U.S. Navy's main fighter early in the war. Though slower than the Zero, its ruggedness and pilot training allowed it to hold the line until the Hellcat arrived. Bombers. Now let's move to the bombers, the heavy hitters that shattered enemy industry and morale. Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress. The B-17 was the iconic heavy bomber of the European theater. Known for its durability and heavy defensive armament, it carried out daylight strategic bombing raids over Germany. Consolidated B-24 Liberator. The B-24 was produced in greater numbers than any other U.S. bomber. With its long range and large bomb capacity, it served in every theater, including anti-submarine patrols. Boeing B-29 Superfortress. The most advanced bomber of the war, the B-29 featured pressurized cabins, remote-controlled gun turrets, and could carry atomic bombs. It ended the war with raids on Japan. North American B-25 Mitchell. Famous for the Doolittle raid on Tokyo, the B-25 was a versatile medium bomber used for low-level attacks, ground support, and anti-shipping strikes. Martin B-26 Marauder. The B-26 Marauder had the reputation of being difficult to fly, but it became one of the safest medium bombers with a low loss rate thanks to its speed and ruggedness. Curtiss SBD Dauntless. The SBD Dauntless was the U.S. Navy's premier dive bomber early in the war. It sank more Japanese ships than any other aircraft, including 4 carriers at Midway. Curtiss SB-2C Helldiver. It replaced the Dauntless later in the war. It was faster and could carry more ordnance, but initially suffered from handling issues. Grumman TBF Avenger. The Avenger was the Navy's main torpedo bomber. It played key roles at Midway and later in sinking Japanese battleships like the Yamato. Transport and cargo. Next, the unsung heroes, the transport planes that moved troops, supplies, and the wounded. Douglas C-47 Skytrain. The C-47, the military version of the DC-3, was the workhorse of Allied transport. It dropped paratroopers on D-Day and flew the perilous hump route over the Himalayas. Douglas C-54 Skymaster. The C-54 was a larger 4-engine transport used for long-range logistics, including presidential travel and the Berlin airlift after the war. Curtiss C-46 Commando. The C-46 was larger than the C-47 and could operate at higher altitudes. It was vital for flying supplies from India to China over the Himalayas. Lockheed C-69 Constellation. The C-69 was a sleek, fast transport adapted from a civilian airliner. It saw limited service but paved the way for post-war air travel. Boeing C-97 Stratofreighter. The C-97, based on the B-29, was used for heavy cargo and medical evacuation. Its double-deck design allowed it to carry large loads. Reconnaissance and patrol. Now the eyes of the fleet, reconnaissance and patrol aircraft. Lockheed P-38 Lightning. Modified P-38s, stripped of weapons, carried cameras for high-speed, high-altitude reconnaissance, providing crucial intelligence. North American F-6 Mustang. Photo recon Mustangs flew deep behind enemy lines without armament, relying on speed and altitude to avoid interception. Consolidated PBY Catalina. The PBY Catalina was a versatile flying boat used for patrol, search and rescue, and anti-submarine warfare. It saved countless downed airmen. Martin PBM Mariner. A larger flying boat than the PBY, the PBM Mariner performed long-range maritime patrol and submarine hunting. Lockheed PV-2 Harpoon. The PV-2 Harpoon was a patrol bomber used for anti-shipping and submarine attacks in the Pacific. Trainer aircraft. Behind every combat pilot was a trainer, the planes that taught them to fly. North American T-6 Texan. The T-6 Texan was the standard advanced trainer for the U.S. and Allied forces. Nearly every American pilot flew one before moving to fighters or bombers. Boeing Stearman Model 75. The Stearman biplane was the primary basic trainer for the U.S. Army and Navy. Its rugged design and forgiving nature made it ideal for beginners. Vultee BT-13 Valiant. The BT-13, known as the Vibrator, was the basic trainer for instrument flying and formation flying, bridging the gap between biplanes and advanced monoplanes. Fairchild PT-19. The PT-19 was a low-wing monoplane trainer used for primary flight instruction. It was simple, reliable, and built in large numbers. Cessna AT-17 Bobcat. The AT-17 was a twin-engine trainer used to prepare pilots for multi-engine aircraft, like bombers and transport. Experimental and special purpose. Finally, the experimental and special purpose aircraft, the cutting edge of aviation technology. Ryan FR Fireball. The FR Fireball was a hybrid fighter with both a piston engine and a jet engine, the U.S. Navy's first jet-powered aircraft to operate from carriers. Douglas XB-19. The XB-19 was the largest bomber built in the U.S. when it flew. It was a test bed for heavy bomber technology, but never saw combat. Convair B-36 Peacemaker prototype. The B-36 flew before the war ended. It would become the post-war strategic bomber capable of intercontinental range. Bell XP-77. The XP-77 was an experimental lightweight fighter made mostly of wood. It was designed to be cheap and simple, but never entered production. Lockheed XP-80 Shooting Star prototype. The XP-80 was America's first operational jet fighter. Although it arrived too late for WWII, it became the basis for U.S. jet aviation in Korea. Conclusion. And there you have it. Every U.S. aircraft used in World War II, from legendary fighters and bombers to vital transport and trainers, each played a part in securing